Chapter 7. The Kinship Organization of the Eastern Zone. In this chapter are included some of the people of the Northeast and the East who speak Mundari and Montmer languages. The northern, the central, and the southern zones are compact and geographically contiguous. The eastern zone shows neither of these characteristics. The Mundari and Montmer speaking groups, though spread over a very wide area, represent today linguistic islands separated from each other by regions where other languages are spoken. Even within these linguistic islands, the penetration of other linguistic groups and the consequent contamination of other languages is very great. The Mundari and Montmer languages belong to a language family called the Austroasiatic family of languages. Languages of this family are spoken by many peoples of Southeast Asia. All these people live as scattered groups among people speaking other languages like the Tibeto-Burmese, Chinese, Aryan, and Dravidian. The westernmost people of this group are the Kurku, who live in central India in the Satpura and Vindhya ranges. The easternmost people are the Annamis on the southeastern coast of the Asiatic mainland. The southernmost people are the primitive Sakai and Semang living in the jungles of Malay Peninsula. The northernmost people are the Khasi of Assam in India. The Austroasiatic languages are divided into great groups of languages, the Montmer and the Mundari. Of these, the people who speak Montmer languages are all, with the exception of the Khasi, outside and to the east of India. Those who speak Mundari are found in central and eastern India. The speakers of Mon and Khmer and Cham had built great empires and have records of their languages in inscriptions of the 7th and 8th century of the Christian era. The other speakers of the Khmer group and all the speakers of the Mundari group are represented today by the so-called primitive tribes living in jungles and ranging from nomadic hunters to cultivators of rice. Even when one confines oneself to these tribes of the above group who are resident in India, it is very difficult to describe their kinship organization as belonging to one pattern or type. A great deal of work has been done on these tribes, and articles and monographs about them are available to students. These give information about the clan system, marriage customs, and family organization of some of these people, but except for the bondos, any record of actual marriages or stories giving a glimpse into kinship conduct are lacking. My own contact with these people has been also very fleeting, and so all that the present chapter intends to do is to present the problem of cultural anthropology of India as it concerns the speakers of this family of languages. We have dealt with the kinship organization of the people speaking the Sanskritic and Dravidian languages. These are the two major partners in Indian culture. The people of the Eastern Zone are the third known partner whose cultural contribution we are trying to discover. These people represent remnants of a once more widespread and numerous group. Today, Today they live scattered, surrounded by later immigrants. They have borrowed much from their neighbors, whose material culture far surpasses theirs. They have no writing to give a definite clue to their laws and traditions. Every aspect of their life has been influenced by the others. It is necessary to find out at least approximately what type of social organization they represent. The best guide for this is their own society as it exists at present, their own traditions as regards their past, and any record of them which may be available in the literature of the two literate partners. The facts one wants to know about them are: how far westward was the extension of these people? Did they enter India from the east? Are all the primitive people in India representative of this third partner? Answers to these questions, even provisional ones, would make clear the interrelation of the three main streams which have gone to make the Indian culture. The most westerly of these people are a tribe called the Korku, found in central India. There is no linguistic evidence to suggest that they once occupied any region west of their present home. This, however, is not evidence based on thorough investigation of the languages spoken by the many primitive and semi primitive people of this area. There is a possibility that such work may discover elements of submerged languages in their speech. The Mundas themselves, according to S.C. Roy, have a tradition of having been pushed eastward from an ancient habitat as far westward as the provinces of northern Rajputana and Delhi. They have, however, no tradition which connects them with the south. As regards the original home of all these people, all the present linguistic evidence points to the east, very probably the southeastern portion of China as the original home of the people speaking the Mundari and Montmer languages. Certain traits of material culture or of the social organization also connects them with Southeast Asia. One such is the shouldered celt, which is found among the Mundari speaking people, as also among the Markmer speaking primitive tribes in Burma and Indochina. Another feature is the upright and horizontal stone slabs, which are erected as monuments to the dead and which characterize all Munda villages. Such monuments are also found among other people of further east. One of the social institutions peculiar to these people are the dormitories of the bachelors and spinsters, which seem to have been copied by the Gonds. This brings us to our last query. Barring the Tibeto Burman speaking people of the eastern and central Himalayan foothills, the languages spoken by the primitives are Sanskritic, Dravidian, and Mundari. The Bhil, the Thakur, the Katkari, the Varli of Rajputana, Gujarat and Maharashtra speak some kind of dialects of Rajasthani, Gujarati, and Marathi, that is Sanskritic languages. There are some non Sanskritic words in their languages, but what their affinities are has not been studied so far. The various types of Kuruba, that is Jenu Kuruba, Betta Kuruba, etc., the Kadar, Urali, Mannan, Toda, and other tribes of the Mysore Plateau and Nilgiri hills speak dialects akin to Kannada, Malayalam, and Tamil languages. The Chenchus speak Telugu. The Koya, the Gond, and the Kond speak a Dravidian language called Kui, and the Oravan of the Chota Nagpur Plateau speak Kuruk, also a Dravidian language. The important tribes which speak Mundari are from south to north the Bondo, the Gadaba, the Savara, the Korku, the Munda, the Santal, and the Montmer speaking tribe is the Khasi of Assam. From among these people, it is almost certain that the original language of the Bhils was not a Sanskritic language and that they have adopted the language of the region in which they find themselves. The same statement can be made of the other tribes who speak some type of Sanskritic languages. As regards the southwestern primitive tribes, they speak Dravidian languages, which are very akin to the dialects of the language of the region in which these tribes live. These tribes are so small that they might be the remnants of larger tribes who have been absorbed in the people of the different regions, while only a minor portion remains today in the jungles. These have been in contact with the more civilized neighbors and may have borrowed and then later adopted their language. Anthropologists have not studied the dialects of these people except that of the Todas of the Nilgiri Hills. Todas are a very typical tribe and seem to be immigrants from some unknown land and today speak a Dravidian language similar to Tulu and Kannada. The speakers of Kui, Gondi, and Kuruk number some 3 millions and are numerically the largest primitive tribes of India. Their tradition connects them with the south and their speech forms have been accorded the rank of independent languages within the Dravidian family. Their history during the Middle Ages seems to be that of powerful tribes making their way northwards and establishing kingdoms in the forested region of the eastern Vindhyas. They came in contact with the Mundari speaking people through whose area of occupation they drove a wedge, leaving the Korkus, the westernmost Mundari people, as a group isolated from the rest. They also drove the Mundas eastwards and northwards and live today as their neighbors. They seem to have borrowed the institution of the bachelor's dormitories from the Mundas. Some Uravans have also adopted the Mundari language, and the account of S.C. Roy shows that they have borrowed some festivals also from them. Of the people speaking Kui, the Kond are an eastern branch, and the Koyas and Gonds the western branch. The Kond live as neighbors of the Bondo, Gadaba, and Saura, three tribes speaking Mundari languages. These three tribes are the most advanced of the Dravidian speaking tribes. They are organized into villages with headmen and magician priests, practice cultivation, have well organized markets, and live materially and economically at about the same level as the Indian agriculturist. Probably they represent a Dravidian speaking people who have been pushed northwards by the more civilized groups of Dravidians and who, in their turn, displaced the Mundari people of central and eastern India. Or they may have been a pre Dravidian people who lived for so long among the Dravidians that they adopted the Dravidian languages as their own in the same way as the Bhils adopted Sanskritic speech. Even if we accept the latter alternative, it leaves us in the dark about the original language of these primitives. The third group of primitives comprise the speakers of the Austroasiatic languages. Besides speaking languages belonging to a common family, they have certain institutions which most of the tribes possess. These are, as indicated above, the custom of setting monolithic monuments to the dead and bachelors' dormitories. They all have exogamous clans, well ordered villages, and a system of markets or haats. They are divided into aristocratic clans from whom headmen or rajas are appointed and have a class of priests, bards, and magicians called Pahan who are held to be lower than the Munda. Some of these tribes are skilled cultivators of irrigated rice fields. Very possibly, they are people who brought rice cultivation into India. All the primitive tribes in India differentiate themselves sharply from the other population in many of their physical characteristics. Yet, it cannot be said that they represent racially one group. The eastern primitives, that is, the Mundari speaking people, are different from the western primitives in possessing larger heads. The central primitives, that is, the Gonds, form a sort of a transition group between the two. They are not as small headed as the western primitives, nor as large headed as the easterners. The westerners appear to be more wedded. If we take into account the archaeological, linguistic, and anthropological researches up to now, we may put forward the following as a working hypothesis for the present. It seems that before the Aryans and Dravidians came into India, the land was occupied by primitive and semi primitive tribes, some of whom, probably the more primitive elements, were hunters and gatherers akin to the Vedas, while others were hunters and cultivators of rice living in jungle clearings and divided into small kingdoms. These people seem to have spread all over Southeast Asia, that is South China, Indochina, Burma, the Malay Peninsula, the Nicobar Islands, India, and Ceylon. How far eastwards and southwards they spread in the island world of Indonesia and the Pacific, we do not know. Linguists say that the Austroasiatic languages show traces of another language which they seem to have absorbed. Possibly that was the language spoken by such people as the Sakai and Semang, who today speak an Austroasiatic language in the Malay Peninsula, the Vedas in Ceylon, and the western primitives of India. The Austroasiatic speaking people themselves were overwhelmed in their turn by the people speaking Tibeto Burman and Chinese languages in the north, by the Aryans in the west, and by the Dravidians in the south. In India, the present primitive people thus are remnants of more numerous and better knit social groups which have been forced apart, partly absorbed, and partly driven into the forest regions by the later conquerors. Whether all these people can be grouped as one cultural entity or whether they were ethnically different elements not assimilated into one culture are questions which await investigation. In India, agencies of cultural unification, like a central political power, a central religious authority, or unity of language, have always been lacking. The political authority never dreamt of interfering in the regulative functions of the local and caste groups. The religious authority was not concerned in laying down rules of conduct and organizing a class of clergymen to enforce it. Whatever cultural unification has been reached has been achieved slowly by a free exchange and adoption of ideas and materials in an infinitely loosely knit and, in certain respects, a very tolerant society. This is the picture of the cultural process of the post Aryan period. We may be sure that the cultural unity of the pre Aryan and pre Dravidian period was of an even looser texture and consisted in some general similarity of forms of social organization and perhaps of language. This supposition would further involve another, and that is that the Dravidian speaking people have always had their center of characterization in the south and that they were not pushed southwards by the Aryans as many scholars believe. The belief that the Dravidians once inhabited northern India is based on the following facts. In Balochistan, near the northwestern frontier of India, now Pakistan, a group of people talk a language called Brahui. This language contains unmistakable elements of Dravidian languages overlaid by the modern dialect of the people. It is supposed that this linguistic island represents a remnant of people who once occupied the whole of India and who have been driven southwards by the Aryans. In the oldest Sanskritic literature, one finds words which, according to some linguists, are of Dravidian origin. Both these are facts which need an explanation. The other data adduced for this theory are of a more speculative nature. There are scholars who find ana- sorry, there are scholars who find Dravidian analogies in the Mohenjo-daro script. Others point out the similarity between the conception of the god Shiva and the representation of a seated human figure on one of the Mohenjo-daro seals, and also make the second assertion that Shiva is a Dravidian god. These later speculations need not be considered here. The Dravidian words found in the Vedas are very few and also isolated. They represent borrowing, but it might have been through some cultural intermediary and not directly from Dravidians themselves. The Atharva Veda contains words like Taimata. The Atharva Veda contains words like Taimata, which are undoubtedly of Babylonian origin and may represent either direct contact or a borrowing through people who had some Babylonian cultural background. The existence of Brahui so far north does represent a real problem. Recently, a hypothesis was put forth that the Dravidians may have entered India via Balochistan, lived in the lower Indus Valley, and migrated thence either on foot or by sea to their present home in the south. This explains the Brahui and may also explain the existence of Dravidian words in Aryan songs if they were the common cultural possession of the people of the Middle East. This hypothesis is also not supported by any undisputed facts. It merely points out an alternative explanation of existing facts. What is the need of such an alternative explanation? This need arises out of the complete absence of any reference to the Dravidians in the earliest literature of the Aryans. It has been said by Western scholars that the Aryans had no historical sense and have left very defective records of their doings. The records may be defective for a historian who wants exact dates and names of kings, but they are very full as regards what the Aryans were doing. If one reads carefully the ritual, the philosophical, and the epic literature, one is struck again and again by the number and variety of observations made therein. The early literature has given the names of people they met and sometimes also their descriptions. In none of these does the word Dravida occur, neither does the appellation noseless applied to the jungle people suit the Dravidians. The word Dravida or Dramida occurs in the epic as applied to people of the south, and a beautiful simile characterizes a custom which is even now found only in Dravidian India. The Dravidian people themselves, barring the kings who claim descent from the sun and the moon dynasty of the north, have no traditions connecting them with the north. The glimpse we get of the Dravidian people in Sanskrit, Pali, and in the earliest Tamil literature is that of a prosperous people settled firmly in the south, having a great culture, a seafaring tradition with rich and busy harbors, and powerful southern kingdoms from where they expanded in all directions. They penetrated into Ceylon and carried the Indian civilization beyond the sea to Java, Sumatra, the Malay Peninsula, and beyond. There is not even a memory of a retreat before advancing force. The picture is that of a vigorous expanding culture which does not agree with a tradition of continuous retreat of 1,000 miles through the length of a whole subcontinent. The mapping of the kinship organization, which we have done, also seems to support the supposition that the Dravidians were advancing northwards, the Aryans southwards, and while the areas of their characterization remain the south and the north respectively, there is a central zone where culture contact and cultural accommodations have taken place, leading to structural adaptations of the kinship organization. Professor Heimendorf, basing his speculations on Sir R. Wheeler's excavations in South India, had envisaged the possibility of the present Dravidians being the builders of the megalithic tombs of South India. These are different in construction from the eastern megaliths of the present day Mundas. Up to about 1949, these tombs were known only in the south. Recent excavation has not discovered any such tombs north of the river Krishna, but pottery has been found which, in technique and in some of the types, seems identical to the megalithic pottery of the south. This has been found in sites which are dated circa 1000 BC provisionally in western and northwestern India as far as Delhi. The northern pottery is much older than the southern tombs, and so it seems that the megalithic builders of the south borrowed it from some northern pre Aryan people. This whole question about the extent of the Dravidians northwards is thus unsolved, and more work in linguistics, anthropology, and archaeology is needed before any definite conclusions can be reached. We come now to our final question about the information which can be got about the non Aryans and the non Dravidian people in the Sanskritic and Dravidian literature and languages. I must plead again my ignorance of philology and also of the Dravidian languages for not being able to cast any light on this problem from that angle. Below, I give a few references in the Sanskritic literature which may be of help to an investigator in this problem. The people mentioned earliest in Sanskrit literature are called Dasa or Dasyu, also written as Dasha, pronounced as Dasha. These were the people with whom the Aryans fought. One of the early kings mentioned in the Rig Veda is called Trasadashu, one who harries the Dasyu. This name suggests that the hated Dasa or Dasyu were formidable enough for a king to take glory in putting them down. The word Dasa or Dasha occurs later in Mahabharata, where a king of that tribe is mentioned. In the epic, as also in the earlier literature, the Dasa are mentioned as fishermen. The second queen of Shantanu was the daughter of a Dasha king. She is called Kali Satyavati, that is the dark Satyavati. It is recorded that she plied a ferry on the Ganga while a maiden. The other word used for fisherfolk or ferrymen is Kaivarta. Though the name Dasa is not found for any tribe or caste of North India today, the name Kaivarta, Kevat or Kyut, Kaibrata is found applied to fisher castes in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Bengal, and Orissa. The other tribes mentioned are Kirata, Sabara, and Nishada. Sometimes these three words are used as synonyms. Nishada are also called Billa. These people are characterized as hunters, trappers, and robbers living in forests. The name Nishada is not applied to any people today, but the other three people are well known in present day India. About the Nishada, a Sanskrit aphorism records a custom which is of great interest to anthropologists. While illustrating a situation where the usual expectation of cause and effect are reversed, two aphorisms are given. One is, the ascetic does the penance and the fool reaps the benefit. The other is, a Nishada woman gives birth to a son and the Nishada man drinks the medicine. Usually, in the Aryan society, the woman in childbirth drinks medicines meant to restore the tone of the womb, generally some astringent called kashaya in the aphorism. But among the Nishada folk, it is the man who has to take medicine. This usage remains one of the customs recorded under Kuwait. The Nishada are mentioned as living in forests, and sometimes Brahmins married their women and made their home with them. A Nishada Rashtra or nation of Nishada and Nishada Karshu are also mentioned. Where they exactly were cannot be determined, but they are to be located somewhere in the Vindhya forests. The Kirata are mentioned as hunters and bowmen of the eastern Himalayan foothills. They are still found in the area. The Shabara are mentioned in both the epics. Rama is supposed to have met a Shabara woman in the central Indian forests. There is a Mundari speaking tribe called Savara, which is found from South Bihar to South Orissa. This seems to be the same tribe as mentioned in the epics and in the earlier literature. The Bhilla are always associated with the Vindhyatavi, the forests of the Vindhyas, where they ruled as hunters, ever ready to fall on the merchant caravans passing through their territory. Last of all, we come to a people who have been mentioned in Mahabharata and in earlier Sanskrit works too. These are the people called Naga. The word Naga has other meanings in Sanskrit. It means a serpent or an elephant, and this has created some confusion about this word. In Mahabharata, the Naga are mentioned also as Sarpa, the usual word for serpent. Sometimes they are described as serpents creeping in grass and biting and killing humans. At others, they are described as human beings. Their record as human beings is very interesting and is as follows. The Nagas were divided into 14 ruling houses. The most westward was the house of Takshaka, and the most eastwards was the house of Karkotaka. The Takshakas ruled in what is today the Punjab and Delhi states. Their daughter, one Jwala, was married to a Kuru king of Hastinapura. Takshaka was the friend of many Aryan kings, but the Pandavas earned his enmity, and the Mahabharata story, while depicting the dispute about inheritance among brothers, also describes a feud waged bitterly for 3 generations between the Takshaka Nagas and Pandavas. The latter were given a part of the kingdom which are comprised of the dense forests on the banks of the Yamuna or the river Jamna. Arjuna, with the help of his brothers and Krishna, burnt this forest down to clear the land for his new capital, the city of Indraprastha or modern Delhi. This forest belonged to Takshaka, who resisted Arjuna but was ultimately defeated and fled away with his life from the Holocaust, though many other Nagas were burned to death. Takshaka waited to take revenge. In the battle, he could not do any harm to Arjuna, but later he killed Arjuna's grandson, King Parikshita, and Parikshita's son, King Janamejaya, killed in revenge thousands of Nagas as sacrificial victims in a great Naga sacrifice until peace was restored by the sage Astika, the son of a Brahmin and a Naga princess. In the same epic, Karkotaka Naga is described as living in the forest of the eastern Vindhyan region, which is even today the land where Mundas are found. The word Naga is not found in the earliest Sanskrit records, but there are many references to serpents and magic formulae about serpent bites. In one hymn in Atharva Veda, 2 Sarpa are mentioned as Takshaka and Vaishaleya, Takshaka son of Vishala, and Dhritarashtra, the son of Iravata. Iravata. Takshaka and Airavata are both mentioned as ruling Naga families in the Mahabharata, which also mentions a Dhritarashtra as the name of a Naga. A princess Ulupi of the family of Airavata Naga had married Arjuna. We can therefore take this early passage in Atharva Veda to refer to the people called the Nagas in Mahabharata. These Nagas who lived in forests, who ruled from the Punjab to the forests of the Chota Nagpur, were not considered as inferior by the Aryans. They were forest dwellers, possibly cultivators of forest clearings. The Aryans, with their cattle and horses and plough cultivation, cut the forests for securing open pastures and fields and land for their cities, and so the two people were locked in a struggle for existence. The Nagas ultimately retreated and must have been absorbed in the agricultural economy of the Aryans. Have we any evidence to connect the Nagas with the present day Mundari speaking tribe? In the Pali literature, a story is told about an event which occurred in the lifetime of Buddha about 7th century BC. This tells of a slave woman called Nagamunda possessed by the Sakyan chief Mahanama. Her daughter, though of inferior birth, was passed off as a true princess of the Sakyas and given in marriage to Pasanadi, the king of Kosala. King Vidudabha, the child of this marriage, killed the whole of the Sakya clan because of this deceit practiced on his father. The Sakyas lived in North Bihar, where even today Mundari speaking tribes live. The name may mean either a girl of the Nagamunda tribe or a girl possessing a serpent ring, but the inferiority of birth makes it probable that she was of tribal origin. Harivamsha Purana mentions a tribe of degraded warriors called Kola Sarpa or Koli Sarpa. We have already seen that Naga and Sarpa are interchangeable terms. The word Kola is even now applied to the Munda types, and their habitat is called Kolhan, the land of coals. So the Kola Sarpa of Harivamsa seems to be identical to Nagamunda of the Pali tradition, and it seems very probable that the Nagas were a Mundari speaking people. The hymn quoted above and the one before it has two rather peculiar references. The hymns 10 to 14 of the 8th book of Atharva Veda refer to some magic of milking a primeval cow called Viraj. The hymn tells of the cow going to gods and men, etc., and what she gave to each. It mentions that each it mentions that she went to the Asura who called her Come Magic. They had an iron pot to milk her. Among the Mundari speaking people, there is a tribe called Asur, who the legend says were workers in iron. The magic cow went to the Sarpas, who, however, had a pot made from a god. Even now, many wild tribes and many village people use dried goat to make vessels. Thus, it does seem probable that the references in this hymn are to Asurs and Sarpas who belong to a Mundari speaking people. The Kola or Kolla are mentioned as degraded warriors. Among the Mundari speaking people, the words for men or male are Ho, Hor or Hara and Kora, and the tribes call themselves Ho and Koraku. The Kora may be the Kora may have been written as Kola by the Sanskrit people. It will be remembered that castes comprising of fishermen, hunters, and dwellers of the western hills, calling themselves Koli, are found all over Maharashtra and Gujarat. In Maharashtra, there are over 100 place names which have Kola as its first syllable, like Kolgaon, the village of the Kol, etc. All the hill forts of Maharashtra are associated with the Koli. Whether these people are the same as Kol or Ho of eastern India and Koraku of central India cannot be determined with the scanty evidence in hand, but if so, then it appears that the Kol or the Munda spread once right up to the Arabian sea coast of India, and that the western branch lost its language and independence while the eastern branch kept both. In this connection, Dr. H.D. Sankalia has drawn my attention to the following references. Number 1. A place called Mundasthala in South Rajputana in an inscription of the 13th century, King Bhima II, 1231 AD. Number 2. A town named Mundaka in North Gujarat of King Bhima the first, 1031 AD. Number 3. A country called Mundarashtra, probably in the neighborhood of the modern city of Nellore. The word Mundarashtra is mentioned in a grant recorded on a copper plate of Yuva Maharaja Vishnugopa of the Pallava dynasty around 6th century AD. Does the old literature depict the social organization of these people? The references to the Dasa, the Kola, the Nishada are rather scanty, and nothing much can be gleaned from them. Reference has already been made to a Kuwait like custom of the Nishadas. There are also references to Brahmins who had married Nishada women and settled among the Nishada people. All the references to the sons of such marriages show that they were taken into the Brahmin fold if they managed to learn the Brahmin lore. The references to the Nagas are slightly more explicit. A daughter of Takshaka called Jwala had married a Kuru prince who was heir to the Hastinapura throne, and the son of this marriage succeeded the father. This marriage seems to have been like the usual marriage of the patrilineal Aryans. There are, however, other Naga Aryan marriages which show a different pattern. Arjuna married or rather lived for a night with Princess Ulupi. The son of this marriage was born and brought up at his mother's house. He went to fight on his father's side in the war and died on the battlefield. The Brahmin Jaratkaru wanted to marry a woman without having the responsibility to feed and shelter her. He was married to the Naga princess Jaratkaru and lived in her brother's house till the birth of a son and then went away. The son Astika was brought up by his mother's kin and helped to save her kinsmen from King Janamejaya. Ulupi's son succeeded to his grandfather's kingdom. Astika was not a successor to his mother's brother's kingdom, preferred to learn the Brahmin lore, and became famous as a sage. All the cases quoted above do not give a conclusive evidence as regards the customs of marriage and inheritance among the Nagas, but it seems probable that there might have been matrilineal practices among them, especially as so many sons of the Naga women were brought up in the mother's house. Within the Naga kingdoms, apparently, the succession was from father to son, and women had apparently greater freedom to choose their mates. The epic evidence about the Nagas does not show that they were thought to be inferior to the Aryans. They were both feared and hated. They were also thought to be endowed with magic powers. In Pali literature, we have a reference in which a man wishing to become a Buddhist monk is asked various questions. One such is, "Are you a Naga?" If the answer is in the affirmative, the man is not admitted into the fold. There are various interpretations given to the word Naga, which is supposed to mean a mythical being or a cruel man or a deceptive man. In view of what is said about the Naga Munda episode, Naga may refer to the Naga tribe also. All this search into the past does not help us materially to understand the kinship organization of the Austroasiatic tribes of the present day, but it shows how long and how intimate the connection of these tribal people with the Aryans was. The tribal religion, social organization, and folklore are affected by this contact. So is the language, which is full of Sanskritic words, as will be evident from the kinship terms given on pages 284 to 289. The present extent of the Austroasiatic languages is said to be from the western Punjab to the Pacific coast and from the Himalayas to the Straits of Malacca. The number of people who speak the language is comparatively small. The same relation of extent in space and small numbers holds for the Indian speakers of these languages. From the foothills of the Himalayas in the north up to the Godavari forests in the south, and from Assam in the east to the Satpura hills in the western central India, this area covered is vast, but they would hardly number more than 4 millions. One feels again that they are a scattered remnant of a people who could never have been very numerous and among whom wedges were driven by later agricultural and pastoral people. Now we go to Munda terminology. Column 1 Mundari, column 2 Santali, column 3 Bondo, column 4 Khasi. Father Aba, Apu, Ba, Abba in Mundari. In Santali, Baba, Apa, Ba, Bapa, Ba, Bap, Bapu. Not given in Bondo. In Khasi, Kaipa, Pa, Uktha. Father's father in Mundari, Aja, Tata. In Santali, Garham, Harham, Aja, Buddha, Buddha Baba. Not given in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Father's father's father, Kuku Bada in Mundari, Dada Barham Jai Dada in Santali, not given in Bondo or Kasi. Mother's father is Nana in Mundari, Garham Harham in Santali, not given in Bondo, a questionable Yuktha in Kasi. Mother's father's father, not given in Mundari, Dada Harham in Santali, not given in Bondo or Kasi. Father's brother, general term, Ka or Kaka in Mundari, Kaka Khura in Santali, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Father's elder brother is Kuku Gungu Bala in Mundari, Huding Baba Gongo in Santali, Busan in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Father's younger brother is Kaka in Mundari, Marang Baba in Santali, Kaka in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Mother's brother is Kumang or Kumaing or Mama in Mundari, Mamu, Mama, Mamam in Santali, Mamung in Bondo, Kin Ingi in Kasi. Mother, Ayo Enga in Mundari, Ayo, Aya, Ayo, Budia, Budiahor, Go, Yengatet in Santali, in Bondo, Young or Yung, Yong. I think in Bondo it's Yong. In Kasi, Ka Kaimi, Gma, Bei, Kaibei, Ka Mai. Mother's mother is Jiang or Nani in Mundari, Garham Burhi, Budaya, Herejia in Santali, not given in Bondo, Kakia in Kasi. Mother's father's mother is not given in any of the languages. Father's mother is Aji in Mundari, Garhamburi Aji, Bongajia in Santali, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Father's father mother is not given in any of the languages. Father's sister is Hatom Fufu in Mundari, Hotom Bongar Hatom in Santali, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Father's elder sister is not given in Mundari. She is Maranghatham and Nana in Santali, Munawang in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Father's younger sister is not given in Mundari, Hurhing Hatham in Santali, Dawang in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Mother's sister, general term, Mai Musi or Garing in Mundari, Kaki in Santali, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Mother's elder sister, not given in Mundari and Santali, Busan Boy in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Mother's younger sister, not given in Mundari or Santali, Umbuk Boy in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Brother is Haga in Mundari, Bhai, Bhaya in Santali, not given in Bondo. In Kasi, it is Upara, Upayu, Bayu. Elder brother is Boko, Bokoboya in Mundari, Marang Dada, Dada in Santali, Mang in Bodo, Himmin Upara in Kasi. Younger brother is Boko, Bokoboya, Undi, Undite in Mundari, in Santali, Bokonja, in Bodo, Me, in Kasi, Himbu, Ubo. Father's brother's son, when older than ego, not given in Mundari. Huding Dada in Santali. Mang in Bodo, not given in Kasi. Father's brother's son, when younger than ego, not given in Mundari. Marang Dada in Santali. Me in Bodo, not given in Kasi. Father's sister's son is general term not given in Santhali or Mundari or Kasi, but in Bodo it is Marenger. Father, sister, son, when older than ego, is Hatam Dada in Santhali, but not given in the other languages. Father, sister, son, younger than ego, is Hatam Bokon in Santhali, but not given in the other languages. Mother's brother's son is Marenger in Bodo, but not given in the other languages. Mother's brother's son, when older than ego, is Mamudada in Santali and Ming in Bodo, not given in Mundari and Kasi languages. Mother's brother's son, younger than ego, is Mamu Bokon in Santali and Kui in Bodo, not given in Mundari and Kasi languages. Mother's sister's son is Mamasi or Mamasi Boheko in Santali, not given in the other languages. Mother's sister's son, when older than ego, is Dada in Santali and Mang in Bodo, not given in the other languages. When younger than ego, mother sister's son is called Bokon in Santali, Me in Bodo, not given in Mundari and Kasi languages. Sister is Misi in Mundari, Misera in Santali, not given in Bodo, Kapara, Kapayu, Kabayu in Kasi. Elder sister is Aji, Dai, Nana in Mundari, Dayai, Dai, Swasin, Aji in Santali, Ming in Bodo, Himmin in Kasi. Younger sister is Boko, Bokoboya, Butuni in Mundari, Mayai in Santali, Kui Unkoi in Bodo, Himbu in Kasi. Father's brother's daughter is Ming in Bodo, not given in the other languages. Father's sister's daughter, when older than ego, is Ming in Bodo, not given in the other languages. Father's sister's daughter, when younger than ego, is Kui Unkoi in Bodo, not given in the other languages. Mother's brother's daughter is not given in any of the languages. Mother's sister's daughter, not given in Mundari, is Mamasi or Mamasi Boikoko in Santali, Ming or Kui in Bondo, not given in Kasi. When older than ego and younger than ego, not given in any of the languages. Son is Honte Kora in Mundari, Gidra Hon in Santali, On in Bondo, Ukun Kom Korang Uhun in Kasi. Brother's son, when a man is speaking, is Haga Hon or Hon Sered in Mundari, Gidra Bhacha, Bhaicha, Bhatija in Santali, On Busaon in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Brother's son, when a woman is speaking, is Hon Sered in Mundari, Bhacha, Bhaicha, Bhatija in Santali, not given in Bondo or Kasi. Sister's son, when a man is speaking, is Bhagina, Gerchon in Mundari, Bhagna in Santali, not given in Bondo or Kasi. Sister's son, when a woman is speaking, is Bhagina, Gerchon in Mundari, Bhagna in Santali, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Son's son is not given in Mundari, Guruhum Kora in Santali, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Son's son is not given in any of the languages. Daughter's son is Bokon in Santali, not given in the other languages. Daughter's son is Jain Kora in Mundari, not given in the other languages. Daughter is Honkuri in Mundari, Marangmai, Haponmai, Beti, Hoponera in Santali, On in Bondo, Kakun in Kasi. In Kasi, Kakun, Kondrakamma, Kondrakma, Kahun. Brother's daughter, when a man is speaking, general term, not prevalent in Mundari. Marangmai, Haponmai in Santali, On, Busaon in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Brother's daughter, when elder than wife, is Aji Hanar in Mundari, Ajnaring or Ajnar in Santali, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Brother's daughter, when younger than wife, is Tenja in Mundari, Santali, Eruling Kuri, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Brother's daughter, when a woman is speaking, is not given in any of the languages. Sister's daughter, when a man is speaking, is Gere Kurihon in Mundari and not given in the other languages. Sister's daughter, when a woman is speaking, is Gere Kurihon in Mundari, Bhagni in Santali, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Daughter's daughter is not given in Mundari, Garham Kuri in Santali, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Daughter's daughter is not given in any of the languages. Son's daughter is Garham Kuri in Santali, but not given in any other language. Son's daughter is not given in any of the languages. Father's sister's husband is Fupa in Mundari, Kumang or Kuma in Santali, Mamung in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Husband's father is Honjar in Mundari, Nojari, Harang or Nijbala Herel or Honhar in Santali, Unkui in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Wife's father is Honjar in Mundari, Nojari, Harang, Nijbala Herel or Honhar in Santali, Unkui in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Mother's sister's husband, not given in Mundari. Huding Baba in Santali. Busan Kakka in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Mother's brother's wife is Mami or Hatum in Mundari. Marang Tatum or Huring Tatum, Mami in Santali. Wang in Bodo, not given in Kasi. Father's brother's wife is Kaki or Kakianga in Mundari. Marang Eyo, Huring Eyo, Kaki, Kakitet in Santali. Busan Boy, Umbuk Boy in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Husband's mother is Hanar in Mundari, Hanaring in Santali, Kier in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Wife's mother is Hanar in Mundari, Hanaring or Hanhar in Santali, Kier in Bodo, not given in Kasi. Husband is Herel or Kora when male, or Purus in Murung, in Herel, Kora for male in Purus in Mundari, Herel or Purus in Santali, Umpor in Bonda, Utinga in Kasi. Husband's brother, when elder than husband, is Bao Honjar or Bao Hasur in Mundari, Baba or Bahonhar in Santali, not given in Bondo or Kasi. Husband's brother, when younger than husband, is Devr or Iril Kora in Mundari, Yeruling Kora in Santali, not given in Mondo or Kasi. Wife's brother, general term, is Tenchan Kora, Sala, Sara in Mundari, Sangat, Tena in Santali, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Wife's brother, when elder than wife, is Bao Honjar or Bao Hasur or Jet Sara in Mundari, Honyaring, Maranichgo, Bahonhar in Santali, not given in Bondo and Khasi. Wife's brother, when younger than wife, is Sara in Mundari, Yeruling Kora in Santali, not given in Bondo and Khasi. Sister's husband, general term is Ara in Mundari, Sangat or Tena in Santali, not given in Banda or Kasi. Elder sister's husband is Tenjang or Bhatu in Mundari, Teyang in Santali, Wumbang in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Younger sister's husband is Ara in Mundari, Bakon in Santali, Arju in Bondo, and not given in Kasi. Husband's sister's husband is not given in Mundari. Baba or Balev in Santali, not given in Bondo or Kasi. Wife's sister's husband is Sadhu or Sarhu or Sargya in Mundari. Surbhai, Sadge, Sadgeya, Sadhu, and Sarhu in Santali, not given in Bondo or Kasi. Son's wife's father is Balam or Samdi in Mundari. Sumundi, Samdi, Bala in Santali, not given in Bondo or Kasi. Daughter's husband's father is Samdi in Mundari. Sumundi, Samdi, Bala in Santali, and not given in Bondo or Kasi. Wife is Kuri when that is Kuri for female, or Ora Gomke or Ora Horo or Buri in Mundari. In Santali, Bahu, Yera, Yerat, Yerauru, Girni, Gomke, Orak Gomket, Rinich, Riniktet, Bonga. In Bondo, Kunoi or Konoi. In Kasi, Katinga, Konta, Kashka, Ka Kinyang. Husband, sister, when elder than husband, not given in Mundari. Ajnaring or Ajnar in Santali, not given in Bondo or Kasi. Husband, sister, when younger than husband, is Yiril Kuri in Mundari. Yeriling Kuri in Santali, not given in Bondo or Kasi. Wife's sister, not given in any of the languages. Wife's sister, older than wife, is Aji Hanar in Mundari, Aji Naring or Ajnar in Santali. Wife's sister, younger than wife, is Tenja in Mundari and Eriling Kuri in Santali, not given in Bondo or Kasi. Brother's wife, eldest brother's wife general term is Natat Era in Santali, not given in Mundari, Bondo and Kasi. Elder brother's wife is Hili or Hilim in Mundari, Hili or Hilia or Hili Hali in Santali, Yimbing in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Younger brother's wife is Bahu or Haga Kimin or Kimin in Mundari, Bahu in Santali, Kumyon in Bondo, not given in Kasi. Husband's brother's wife is Natya in Mundari, not given in the other languages. Husband's elder brother's wife is Dai or Natang in Mundari, no, Dayai in Santali, not given in the other languages. Husband's younger brother's wife is not given in Mundari, Mayai in Santali. Wife's brother's wife is not given in Mundari, Dayai in Santali, not given in the other languages. Son's wife's mother is Samdin in Mundari, Balankuri in Santali, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Daughter's husband's mother is Samdin in Mundari, Balankuri in Santali, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Daughter's husband is Ara, Arahon, Araing in Mundari, Javaigo, Javaigokmet, Javaigomket in Santali, Arju in Bodo, not given in Kasi. Husband's brother's son is Huding Thayo in Santali, not given in other languages. Husband, sister, son is Bhagna in Santali, not given in others languages. Wife's brother's son is Kumankora in Santali, not given in other languages. Wife's sister's son is Gidra in Santali and not given in other languages. Son's wife is Hona Kimin or Kimin in Mundari. Huding Bahu, Marang Bahu, Kimin, Bo, Kimion, Bobiti, Kimintet in Santali, not given in Bondo and Kasi. Husband's brother's wife is Mayai in Santali, not given in other languages. Husband's sister's daughter is Bhagnakuri in Santali and not given in other languages. Wife's brother's daughter is Kumankuri in Santali and not given in other languages. Wife's sister's daughter is Maye in Santali and not given in other languages. Father's wife, other than Ego's mother, is Kaki Engat in Santali, not given in other languages. Mother's husband, other than Ego's father, is Kakababa in Santali, not given in other languages. Co-wife is Hirom in Santali, not given in other languages. All the people speaking Mundari languages have patrilineal and patrilocal families. S.C. Roy mentions that the northern people like the Hos and the Santals have a peculiar condition for cross-cousin marriage. A man cannot marry his mother's brother's daughter as long as the mother's brother is alive, nor can he marry the father's sister's daughter as long as the father's sister is alive. This condition makes a cross-cousin marriage a very rare occurrence. Elvin, in his book on the Bondos, mentions that the Bondos have no taboo against cross-cousin marriage, but he could not find a single example of such a marriage in the genealogies collected by him. With his usual partiality for claiming that mating among the primitives is from free choice, he explains the fact by saying that the lack of even a single example of cross-cousin marriage was due to the perfect freedom of choice which exists among the Bondos. I think it is due to the partial taboo recorded by Mr. Roy. My inquiries in the north also failed to reveal cross-cousin marriages. The Hos and Mundas have separate dormitories for bachelors and maidens, and they indulge in premarital sexual relationships. Sometimes these relationships result in marriage, but quite often the marriage mate is different from the mate of the dormitory days. All these people are divided into exogamous, totemistic clans. A person must marry outside of the clan and also outside of the circle of near relations, like first cousins. Money is given for procuring a bride. A man may serve in his future father in law's house for some years in lieu of payment of bride price. After marriage, a man rarely lives with his parents. He generally sets up a house of his own, though he may sometimes have a younger brother or a widowed mother with him. Thus, though marriage is arranged by parents who help to pay the bride price, the married couple start an independent family and the children are brought up in this single family. The Mundari people thus differ from the rest of India in not having the joint family. This single family is, however, connected with the other families of the Patrick clan by common worship of ancestors and sometimes by residence in one village. There is mutual help when needed, but the man and wife have an independent life of their own and authority over their children. The kinship terminologies for the Munda, the Santal, the Bondo, and the Kasi are given in the table. I cannot comment on them for lack of knowledge of the languages, except to say that many words are borrowed from the Sanskritic and the Dravidian languages. With reference to the status of the married woman, it may be noted that in the Mundari language, a married woman is addressed in the dual you two, referred to in the dual she, the two, and speaks of herself in the dual we two number. The married life for a woman is the life of two people and not that of a bride lost in the huge joint family of her husband. The Khasis of Assam, who speak an Austro-Asiatic language of the Montmer group, are a matrilineal people. The differences between the Khasi and the Nair of Malabar practices seem to be as follows. We have seen that the Nairs have a matrilineal joint family where the husbands of the women are occasional visitors only. Among the Khasis also, there is a matrilineal joint family with common worship and a common graveyard for members of the family, but the husband and wife live together in a small house of their own. The husband lives for a time with the wife's people, but after the birth of a child or two, the married pair go to live in a separate house erected by the man. This house and the land belongs to the man if he has acquired them by his own labor. He can give them away to whom he wills, but on his death, if he dies without making a gift of it while living, all his property passes ordinarily to his mother. The widow may get a half if she does not marry again. If he has no mother, then it goes to his youngest sister. If he has no female relatives on the mother's side, it goes to his youngest daughter. Ordinarily, his daughters would hold land in their mother's clan. No ancestral property is owned by a man. The man lives with his mother in law for a time, and in so doing, his position is like that of a bride in the Hindu patrifamily. The Hindu patrifamily tries to incorporate the bride as a member of the family, but in a Kasi family, the daughter's husband is always a stranger. When he starts a home of his own, he owes certain things like labor in ancestral fields to his mother. On his death, the property reverts to his mother, and his wife and children go back to the clan of the wife's mother. Thus, the single family founded by man is a transitory affair and is dissolved on the death of the man. The permanent unit is the joint matrifamily, which is not, however, as closely knit as the usual joint family because every now and then daughters and their husbands establish independent homes. The youngest daughter always gets the largest portion of the estate as she is the family priestess. In the houses of chieftains, the succession is nepotic, that is, a son of the eldest sister of a ruler succeeds him. A widow or a divorced woman is not allowed to marry again in the husband's clan. The woman enjoys a great amount of freedom. They always get the custody of the children in the case of a divorce, and though the children's relation to the father are of respect and affection, all real attachment is to the mother. The system of establishing an independent household makes this the only region in India where husband, wife, and children live as a closely knit group at least during the lifetime of the man. Husband and wife both work to support the family, and though the maternal uncle has certain rights of guardianship over the children, they are guided in their daily behavior by their parents. The Kasis have clans which trace their descent to some ancestors. A person must marry outside his clan. Marriages of parallel cousins are not allowed. Marriages of cross cousins also very rare. It appears that a man can marry his mother's brother's daughter after the death of the mother's brother, but never during his lifetime. The marriage of a man to his father's sister's daughter is rarer still and can take place, if at all, after the death of the father's sister. The whole family system, that is, the structure of the matrilineal family, the formation of an independent single family in each generation, the importance given to the youngest daughter, and the peculiar regulations for cross cousin marriages which prevent the frequency of such an occurrence, is different from the systems of northern or southern India. Assam, the easternmost part of India, is full of tribal people, but only one is described here just to show that in this region, in the extreme northeast of India, one finds matrilineal families as are found in the extreme southwest. What the relation of these regions could be, the author is unable to say. Matrilineal families are found among people speaking Tibeto-Burman as well as Montmer languages. There is, as we have seen, incidents of matrilineal family in the south of India among people speaking Tamil, Malayalam and Tulu languages. There are anthropologists who think that the whole of the Dravidian linguistic area represents a matrilineal complex. In the Pali literature from Ceylon, there are references to nepotic succession. Ceylon was ruled by kings calling themselves Nagas. Southern matrilineal families may be due to number one, pre-Dravidian institutions remaining as pockets in isolated spots, or number two, they may be due to Ceylonese and Malayan immigration, as many castes claim to have come to Malabar from somewhere south, and as coconut culture is supposed to have been introduced by these castes, or number three, they may be original Dravidian institutions representing a time before the Dravidian people were influenced by the Sanskrit speaking patrilineal people of the north. The peculiarities to notice in this context are that among Khasis and Mundari speaking people, there is a partial taboo on cross cousin marriage, Whereas in the south, the Dravidian region, it is the preferred type of marriage among the patrilineal as well as the matrilineal people. The kinship terms of the Khasis and of the Mundari people, when they do not use borrowed terms, do not conform to the pattern of the kinship terms of the Dravidian languages. That is, they do not suggest the division of a group into moieties or do not point to the custom of exchange of daughters. Cross cousin marriage is one type of such an exchange. Thus, neither the terminology nor the custom of preferential mating of the two regions are alike. This does not mean that there can be no cultural connection between the two regions. It only shows that, as already pointed out, the interrelation of this third partner in the Indian culture to the other two is difficult to define and needs very painstaking investigation before anything definite can be said about it. End of the chapter. The next chapter is chapter 8 conclusion, which we will do in the next video.